If you'll rise and join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to
allegiance
the flag of
To
the
the flag,
United States of
United
America,
States of America,
to the
to the
republic
republic
for which
for
it
which
stands,
it stands,
one nation,
one
under God,
under God,
indivisible, with
indivisible,
liberty and
justice for all.
Wait, it can't only be April with the weather we're having. It feels like a summer evening outside.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
gorgeous, yeah.
I'll take it. Welcome to the April Town Board meeting for the Town of Philipstown. Approval of minutes, monthly Town Board meeting, March 4th, 2021.
So moved.
Second,
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye.
aye.
Committee reports, Conservation Board.
Okay, the Conservation Board met on March 9th. We've ongoing is Riverview. This is a mitigation and restoration plan. The Conservation Board just needs basically the maintenance agreement. They did provide a conditional permit. This obviously is also before the lead agency planning board for SECRA. And it has to, of course, satisfy that as well for it to be completed, but it looks like finally getting to where we need to get. Also on the agenda was Swanson and Murphy 301. This was the burnt down house, the rebuild. There was an agreement. The applicant agreed with the Conservation Board's recommendation to put in a peat septic system. These systems will last at least 10 years. It all depends, of course, on use and seasonal capability, and they're pumped every 3 years. The recommendation, obviously, they're providing a conditional permit based on the Board of Health's approval of the system, which I think looks pretty good, and being able to provide a maintenance agreement to show that will be taken care of. A new item on the agenda is a 1.5 story. This is 15 Lake Celeste in Garrison. This is a summer cottage being converted to a year-round. Okay, they basically are looking for variances as well. They obviously will be referred and were referred to the conservation, to the zoning board. But for the most part, the discussion pretty much revolved around the fact that they have to be really careful with where they're wanting to go in regards to wetlands and so forth. These are where you get into these grandfathered or existing properties, and then obviously understandable people want to obviously raise it or go further, but they talked about going up and so forth instead of going out and creating more of a footprint. That's ongoing. The next one also is 55 Country Hill Lane. This is Cold Spring. This is basically a discussion of a non-invasive species management capability, what kind of herbicides to use, spot treatments, brush mowing, herbicides. A lot of discussion went on in regards to how to basically handle that. But obviously, when to cut grass and so forth in regards to nesting birds and so forth. But that was a very positive discussion overall. And our next meeting will be on, April, the 13th. Another item just kind of related to this is the stormwater management. We will be posting the draft online soon. I'm asking the board as well to allow for the public hearing, which is something we do every year, to be posted on the May meeting so that we can have the public hearing and draft, and of course incorporate any comments we receive into the final report and get that out at the end of that month. Okay, thank you very much.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike. Recreation.
Good evening. The Recreation Commission met last Tuesday, March 30th. There was a discussion or report, I should say, on the summer camp, and the registration began this week. We're optimistic that on this summer, after guidance from the Department of Health, the preschool enrollment is up, which is encouraging, and the vaccination clinics continue at the rec center. It's actually, I went down there one day just to see how it was operating. It's really a great, smooth operation, so well organized. So I want to thank the Putnam County Department of Health. Our community is very grateful. I heard people making comments, and they're very grateful that it's local.
I got to agree. It's a very well.
There was also, I'm sorry, a discussion of the community.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, Bob. The New Leaf Community Garden was also discussed, and there's interest in how the plot will be awarded. It's going to start soon, so it's exciting.
Okay, Judy, you're breaking up a bit, so I don't know what's
That's it.
going on, but
Oh, sorry.
that's
You
right.
might.
Did you hear that last piece about the new Leaf Community Garden? There was a
Yeah,
discussion of how the plots are going to be awarded and excitement about that.
I sent around that new proposal from New Leaf. I don't know if the board wants to comment on it. It seemed pretty reasonable as far as their rules and the $50 fee they're going to charge for maintenance of the site. So
There had been, yes, concern about a fee, so I
I mean,
shared,
does the rec commission feel strongly about the fee?
I haven't had comments on that yet, but they did comment at the meeting about it and thought it was a little high, so. But I know there's a proposal to lower it.
Yeah, it was. They had it at 100. I said we certainly don't want that. They dropped to 50. I would imagine if somebody, really couldn't swing the $50, we're not going to block anybody out. I suggested or recommended to them that it be a suggested donation, and I imagine most people would pay. And if somebody can't pay, they're not put on the spot for, not, especially
And
right
it
now.
was suggested, maybe we could have the workshop just to tell the public how they could apply so that people in Cold Spring and Nelsonville, hear about it as well and how to apply for a plot for people
Well,
that
it might
don't
be
have a
helpful
garden.
for them to run an ad in the paper.
Yes, that would
This
be,
whole thing is
yes,
an
a good
initiative
idea
brought
as
by
well.
a group. I don't want the town board to start being, I'm not saying it's overly burdensome, but I know everybody's feeling pretty under the gun lately, and we got a move in process. So I'm not looking to take on any further work at this time.
No,
So
but if we could put an ad in the paper, that would be good. Or maybe we could speak to New Leaf about that.
yeah, if you don't mind doing that, that would be good.
Sure.
Thank you, Judy.
You're welcome.
Philipstown Hub.
The Philipstown Hub is meeting April 14th, the Community Coalition. And they're also having a community conversation on April 15th, which will focus on anxiety and stress. And they will have someone who's experienced in doing yoga and other exercises to deal with anxiety and stress. So we urge everyone to go to the Philipstown Hub website and sign up for the community conversation on April 15th.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's it. You're welcome.
Planning board.
Okay, planning board met on March 18th, 7:30. Full agenda as we've been having over the last several months. The first item on the agenda was the Garrison Golf Course / Hudson Shakespeare Festival. We did have another site visit on March 14th. Over 75 people from the community joined that site walk. It was very well attended, and a lot of questions were asked throughout the whole entire process. But we had a meeting since then, just so everyone knows that everyone's going to understand the community. This is it's a big project, but it's going to be done over many phases. It's not like this thing's going to be done in 3 or 4 years. It's probably going to be a 5 to 7 year project, probably. And the first phase of this, as everyone should be aware of by now, is just really to get the tent out of Boscoville in 2022 and bring it up to this location and have this parking lot and possibly, a box office, maybe a temporary box office to begin with, but that's the way it's going to be. Also, to do this, there's going to be we have to do a zoning change. It's going to require a wetlands permit. It's going to require a 4-lot subdivision for 4 private houses on the location as well. The planning board is requesting AKRF for assistance in this project. I think we're going to talk about that later on in the project in our meeting tonight. There's a possibility this could be a positive declaration, secret declaration, but that's yet to be seen. But there's a lot of concerns, but I think all those concerns will be addressed over the next several months. This is going to go on. I'll be probably reporting on this for the next 7 or 8 months for year end, probably. Just so you know, right now there's a total of 10 buildings on the place today, on the locations today. they're going to add 29 buildings and a few coming down. It'll be a total of 35 buildings all said and done. That may change a little bit now, since now I understand the golfing is going to be completely eliminated after this year. So if everyone wants to play golf at the Garrison for the last time, I encourage you to play this summer while you got a chance, because next year there probably won't be any golf whatsoever. Originally it was supposed to be 9 holes, but from what I understand, that 9 holes is going to be eliminated as well. Out of all those houses we discussed, the housing buildings we discussed, the maximum amount of people that will be able to stay on site at any given time would be 98 people is what I'm. Next month, we'll start the EAF process. It's been submitted, so we're going to start reviewing that on April 15th, the next meeting. Next on the agenda was Allison, the Desmond Fish Library. The month before that, they did hold a public hearing. Unfortunately, though, it was not advertised properly. You're supposed to have a sign out on the property. This was something new that no one even knew about, but someone found out about it. Anyway, we're having another public hearing next month to continue it from the previous month. Next on the agenda was Mark Cohen, 242 Route 403 in Garrison. I've been talking about this the last several months as well. They had a site visit on March 7th. During that site visit, they were requested to approve the trees that needed to come down before the end of the month because of long-eared bats. They did approve that right on site, and they did cut the trees down that were requested. Public hearing will be set for next month as well. Well, this month on the 15th. New business Magazino. They did get approval for that lot line adjustment several months ago. Unfortunately, the seller of the property backed out of that 5 acres. So that lot line adjustment they had is going to be taken away. So they're not going to have that 5 additional acres. The only thing that's going to change at this particular time is the Scholar House, which they had planned for, will no longer be built at this particular time. It may happen years down the road, but right now there's no plans to have the Scholar House built. Last thing on the agenda, Gina and Jessica Hustle of Wildcock of 28 and 30 River Road. They have 2 lots down there, and they're going to combine. The plan is to combine both lots into one lot and build a 4-bedroom house plus an attached garage. It's going to require a new septic, a new seawall replacement. This is going to require approval from the zoning board, conservation board, a DEC for the bulkhead, Army Corps of Engineers will also be involved in the county health. Meeting was adjourned at 10:15. Next meeting is April 15th via Zoom, 7:30.
Thanks, Bob. Zoning.
Zoning, I attended the March 8th Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. There was a public hearing for John and Renee McCann, 14 Old Oak Road in Garrison. The applicant is seeking a variance to construct a deck that is 42 feet from the rear property line where 50 feet is needed. The public hearing was held and approved unanimously. There was also a review for completeness for Gary and Sue Onashenko, 28 Lake Celeste in Garrison. They are looking to legalize an existing deck, and which is also in violation of a yard setback. And they're also looking to add to an existing non-conforming. That application was reviewed and deemed complete, and they're meeting on 4/12 where their public hearing will happen.
Thank you.
Highway, I have the highway report as well. Philipstown Town Board members from Carl Frazenda, work performed by the Philipstown Highway Department for the month of March. Another winter is almost behind us and has been a rough one. As we spring ahead, many dirt road residents will tell of potholes on their roads. The Highway Department is working diligently to improve road conditions. However, this won't happen overnight. As the warm weather approaches, the crews will be out daily with 2 graders to get roads back into shape. Have patience, please. Homeowners are responsible for trimming hedges or bushes growing or hanging over town roads. These sometimes can limit sight distance and become hazardous to motorists. The highway crews are also out doing minor pipe work and clearing pipes and waterways. New York State DOT informed us that the beginning of April through April 16th, they will be closing a section of Route 6, the Goat Path, from Ansville Circle, Roehook Road to Bear Mountain Bridge for guide rail replacement. During this time, South Mountain Pass will not be used as a cutoff road. Motorists must take 403 to Route 9. South Mountain Pass is not a road equipped to deal with major traffic, especially trucks. The highway department received 16 phone calls for the month of March. Approximately $13,600 in vehicle maintenance was spent for the month of March. Half of this month's cost was repairing the case loader. An additional cost is renting equipment when repair work is being done to ours. Above monthly submitted by Carl Frazenda, the highway superintendent.
So is he gonna notify the sheriff when that road closing happens down on the goat path?
I would hope so. I'll speak with them, but usually they go down there and put barricades up, our highway crew. They've done that in the past, but we will probably seek the assistance of the sheriff's department.
Yeah, 'cause barricades don't mean anything to people anymore.
Rich, I remember last year you mentioned they're gonna be closing part of Route 9 this
They are.
sometime this summer.
They're gonna be repairing the bridge across from
Right, yeah.
the motel.
Yeah, so any time frame on that, do you know?
You know, I don't know if that's still happening. Have you heard any
Oh.
more about it, Richard? I have not.
They contacted me earlier this year and they said it was going to happen this summer, but you know,
No.
I imagine it's still planned because they need to do maintenance on that bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been cones up along the side for months, but
Yeah.
since
they've been
last
there
summer.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
they've been here for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if you heard anything, because that's gonna be a
No.
major bottleneck.
Yeah, it sounds like it'll be one-way traffic. You know, they'll have either a light or
Right, but then everyone's gonna go through the back road there, so what's gonna happen?
exactly.
Well, they're gonna try until they get ticketed.
Right, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Building and land acquisition. So the big day has finally arrived. We're moving back into town hall on Monday. There's still ongoing work, but we're pushing the issue to make sure that everybody knows we're serious about this. I was in the building several times today, been there every day for weeks on end, and it looks good. It's, you know, it's ready to be occupied, but there are certain things that we're still waiting on, stair treads. So they're putting temporary rubber mats on. And then the elevator, because of the phone line, is still a question. So I guess, Bob, you're dealing with that.
Yeah.
Trying to at least.
Yeah.
So they're going to get the company up there, I guess, early next week to.
Yeah, Perry said he was gonna try to get them as soon as possible, so as soon as he has them, I'll get the people there and myself to make sure we get this thing to work, because like I said, the phone, we do have dial tone in the basement, it's just not getting up to the elevator.
Yeah, I think when the elevator company was here the other day, I think the phone line goes to the top of the cab and then down in. And I think they pulled the wire off the top of the cab to check if they were getting signal at that point, and it may not be connected to the phone inside the elevator. So
Maybe
that's
it.
probably, I'm thinking that's the issue.
Well, it sounds like our end is complete. It's in the car where the issue is, or connecting to the car.
It appears that way, but you
Yeah.
never know. I mean, they could be a crossed wire someplace between there. You know, the
Yeah.
MC Electric ran the wire. I'm sure it's all certified, but you never know.
Well, we're
I
going to
would
find
think
out
most
soon.
likely you're correct, Johnny, on that.
Yeah.
But the building looks good. I think everybody will be much happier in there. Our thanks to Kim and Nick Groombridge for the reasonable lease on their building over the year. So, and also for being very patient, since we've definitely overstayed our on time frame.
And the veterans.
Yeah, we are moving out Monday, and then also our thanks to the vets, yeah, for the American Legion, also for a very reasonable lease there for the space and for extending that time to us. So thanks to both those groups.
I was contacted today by the veterans, and they want to know if we're leaving the shed behind, because they would really, really like the shed.
Oh.
The
I
extra
was
storage
talking
space.
about that.
Did we buy that shed?
Yes,
We
we
did.
did.
Take it
It wasn't cheap either. The reason I'm bringing it up, we may, if we're gonna go back to e-waste, we may be able to use that up to landfill to put the e-waste stuff in there possibly.
We can work something out. We'll work something.
Yeah,
I mean, if the vets want it,
they do, and it's kind of sitting there already, but
it's already there. I mean, we
and they
can
they
raise.
want
some
to know
funds for another one. But
if
I
the
mean, if
oil
the vets
tank's
want
going to
it,
be full.
more power to them. They can have it.
All right, good.
Then with highway, we're moving along with highway. I've been working on a funding application through Congressman Maloney's office. If anybody wants to write letters to the Congressman office in support of our highway facilities project, that would be really helpful. We do need community support for this. I think anybody who drives by that facility knows that we are in desperate need of a new building. I got letters of support from OSI. I got a letter of support from the Philipstown Emergency Services coming, and I got a letter of support from Haldane School coming. So those are some of the parameters that are involved in the funding application that needs to meet certain requirements for the town. So with all those, healthcare, school, all the work that highway does has an impact on all those. You don't maintain these back roads, suddenly you can't get an emergency service vehicle there. You can't get a school bus up there safely. So we really appreciate them supporting us in this. OSI was very helpful in this. They're a joining neighbor and they're in full support of the project. So, and the timing couldn't be better. We have all our documentation ready to go out to bid. We have a construction management firm that's going to handle the bid opening process and potentially some value engineering. So we're in really good shape. And I really, really want people to reach out to the congressman's office to support the project. Anyone who wants to write a letter or send an email of any sort supporting that project would be important to us. We could really use the help right now, especially in light of the year we've had with COVID. Didn't help our revenue stream at all. But there's no getting around the fact that we have to do this project. We don't meet current fueling system standards. We don't meet, air quality standards for the mechanics. We don't meet any standards. That building's over 70 years old, and it's run its lifetime 2 times over. So we need to move on and get a modern facility there with some of the modern amenities. So again, we'll be moving along with that, and hopefully we can kick that off in August. I'm hoping by then. All right, Cemetery Committee.
Okay, the Cemetery Committee met on April 5th. Basically, we're continuing to perform the work in the Mountain Avenue Cemetery. We had a new member, so we did an orientation process for them as well. We're going to ask the stonemasons to take a look at the old red stones that are right in the middle of that cemetery. We've kind of stayed away from them. They are fragile. They're going to need some work. They go back to the Revolution. This is the Davenport Warren families. But when I've inspected them, there's chips coming off and there's cracks. I wanted to ask the stonemason, is it possible to put on some sort of clear coating over them, possibly, so they could protect them that way? I think if we don't take some measures, we're going to see some real damage with them, and that would be really tragic, I think. Some people have asked also about donations. They can send in money and ask for specific work on a particular grave and so forth. We reviewed some of the graves we cleaned last time, the members, and they're looking very well. And obviously people can just assist us with those as well. They can contact me when we're having meetings or we're doing that to help out, and we'd really appreciate that. And I'll be talking to the stonemason soon, because we're going to start shortly on that. Thank you.
Terrific work, Mike. It looks great over there. I walked by there the other night, and it just really makes a huge difference seeing so many additional stones standing up, and the fact that you've been spearheading this for so many years. But if people do want to donate to that it's a really terrific cause. So
yep, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
County Legislator.
Hi, good evening. Nancy Montgomery here. Thanks for having me. Richard, I'd be happy to write a letter of support for the Highway Department project. Just maybe I can get a little bit of background on that. Just some things to report on the county level. The county did submit their police policy review on time to the state. So we're relieved to have that submitted, and we're relieved to continue to do the work, of reviewing police policies and having community input. There's going to be an independent coalition advisory group that's hopefully going to be formed just to keep the process on the table and it to be a living document and always something at the forefront that we're talking about. I think that's important, and the community citizen input is so important for me on a county level. The county is going to be having a hazardous waste cleanup day on May 1st at Fawnstock Park, Route 301. Pre-registration is required. You can visit the county website or give a call. Maybe we can put it on your website, 845-808-1390. Again, it's social distancing, masks required, putting things in your trunk, and driving up. So it's going to be a little bit different this year, but we're glad that they're going to continue to do this. I'm really happy to see so many things on your agenda related to the Climate Smart Initiative, and I'm so relieved that the initiative that I put forward to the county more than 2 years ago has been dormant, but because your great folks, Crystal Ford and Roberto Mueller, came to the legislature to give the legislature an update on what you guys were doing, it seemed to, light a fire, and we're starting to move forward finally on the Climate Smart Initiative. So I was really happy about that. I did make a request following, your lead again to have the same coalition that presented information to you a few months ago about the New York Health Act. I wanted them to present to the Putnam County Health Committee, but I was denied the agenda request by Chairwoman Sage. No reason, basically I just asked that our constituents who, want to get the information out about the New York Health Act be heard at our committee. I mean, that's where we hear from our residents, and that's where people get to voice and share their thoughts on things that they would like to see, just sharing information, but unfortunately it was denied. So I was disappointed in that and have to decide what to do with that next. And as you're all aware, the county is mandated every 10 years to review the county charter. Again, unfortunately, like in the years past, town representatives have been on that commission, the Charter Review Commission. But we don't have that happening this year. There's only a couple of members from the Rules Committee on the legislature on that commission. But regardless of that, I would like to get your input. And I would like for you to share your ideas with me on what you would like to see in the county charter, if you would like to see any changes. So, perhaps there's a time when you're not so busy after you get settled into the new building that we could meet in a workshop and discuss it. I can share the current county charter with you. It's on eCode. You just have to go onto eCode and search county charter, and read about it and get familiar with it and see what changes you would like to see, if any. So again, I'm here if anybody needs me. If you guys have any questions for me, here I am.
Thank you, Nancy. We know
Sure.
you're always there for us over at the county level. It's a shame that they neglected to put the New York Health Act, the proposal for that, on any sort of agenda, because people are in the dark about it. And I think a lot of people are hoping for it. You see lawn signs around supporting that initiative, and it,
Yeah, this wasn't even there was no resolution attached. It was not for it or against it. It was just, hey, let's share some information on what's before a very important proposed bill before the state. It would be good for these experts that we have in our county, the coalition, who know a heck of a lot about it, to share that information. But so just keep trying. That's all. Just making suggestions. I get, as I always say, I get paid by the question. So I just keep asking questions.
Yeah, and also great thanks goes out to you for your coordinating efforts in getting the vaccine clinic over here at our rec center.
Thanks.
People should know that pod would not be out there without the efforts from Nancy Montgomery. And this is years and years of work that Nancy's put in to get county services here for the town of Philipstown. So, and I have to say, it's been a really refreshing change to work so closely with the county, and especially through you, Nancy.
Thanks.
Everybody who's gone to that pod knows what a great success it is, how smoothly it's run, and a lot of county resource has gone into this, a lot. We partnered with them on some things, but they have brought the full team and the full weight of the county to bear here in Philipstown. And a large portion of that should go to Nancy's efforts over the years of, to keep banging that drum to get those services here. But our thanks goes out to Putnam County, especially you, Nancy.
Thank you.
And
Thanks, Richard.
again, I'd be remiss if I didn't say the nurses and the volunteers for this county are extraordinary. It is touching to see the work that's going on there. And the Putnam County Health Department is to be commended. Kathy Percocello and Dr. Neshawat and the whole team, the people they bring, you see guys from public health who are in the septic business at the doors checking temperatures. So it's all hands on deck. They realize, and we are really grateful for that. So,
Yeah, it's a nice partnership. It's a long time coming, and you have internet there now, and it's great.
and again, it's been great partnering with you. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy.
My pleasure. Always.
All right, onto the agenda.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is a resolution approving the continuation of the Community Choice Aggregation Program by continuing to offer electricity supply and incorporating opt-out community distributed generation.
So this is something we did over a year ago, formed this community choice aggregation program here in Philipstown. Pardon me, it was just made legal at the time that we did it. There was a pilot program in Westchester, but when Philipstown did it, we were one of the first municipalities to do it, brought to us by a group of volunteers from the town, Jason Angel included, and Mike Roush, and they did a tremendous amount of work just to get us to the starting line there. So far, it's been a great program. The fact that the vast majority of everyone in Philipstown is now on electricity produced from sustainable sources. So we're happy to do this again. This is just all part of a piece of our Climate Smart initiative, also gaining traction and getting points for Climate Smart communities. And we're not just window dressing here. We're taking serious action because this is a serious, serious problem, not something we can foist off onto the next generation. There is no time to waste as far as the climate's concerned. That's why we have a Climate Smart coordinator, Crystal Ford. And I don't know if Crystal wants to say anything about this, but if you want to make a few brief remarks, Crystal, I'd welcome that.
Hi, thank you, Richard. So, I do think that continuing on with the community choice aggregation is just a really great option for the residents. A lot of us live in the woods and can't put solar on our houses, and it's a way for us to, be getting the renewable energy that we really need to be powering things, because this next step is to electrify everything. So first step, get electricity that's clean, and then electrify your home, your vehicles. So this is all the steps in the process. So I do think it's, sorry, you lost me. I think it's the right thing to keep going with.
Thank you. And thanks for all your efforts on our behalf. I mean, I can't stress how important the work is that Crystal does and that Roberto has done for us, and the fact that Jason Angel brought us these opportunities along with Mike Roush. It really is meaningful. And there's been big changes in town due to those efforts. So thank you. So with that, I would like to continue on with this program here in Philipstown. It's established, it's working well. And I think people by and large are always questioning how they can do more for the environment. Well, now you are by default. And if you don't want to be in it, you opt out. So that is an option for people. I would wonder why people would opt out, but there are always some reasons why people aren't comfortable doing things. But you get the same grid, you get the same electricity. It's just that your portion of that comes from renewable resources. So we have the resolution approving the continuation of community choice aggregation program. Could I get a motion on that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Congratulations and thank you.
Next is a resolution approving the GHG emission reduction targets and climate action plan.
Again, since here in Philipstown, we've always led the way, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. So we take on a lot of big projects. I mean, when you hear the things that are going on between the building initiatives, the climate initiatives, all of it of a piece, looking to modernize our infrastructure while making more pleasant work environments and safer work environments, and also providing work for individuals and for the economy, while at the same time raising funds for those projects and doing them with, as far as town hall is concerned, no impact to the taxpayer. There'll be no impact from town hall when we go to bond on that. That was a 16-year planning process and it paid off, all that work and waiting. But again, the adoption of the greenhouse gas emission reduction targets are helped by modernizing our infrastructure. And again, this is all part of our efforts to reduce global warming and climate change. So you just can't lose with these programs. We're doing the right thing. It's sparking this innovation, as Crystal said, to electrify things, to put in charging stations, to also use electricity for the heat at town hall and air conditioning. By and large, that building will be a very green building and a much, much greener building than it used to be. It was green only in the fact that it was covered in mold and about to fall into the compost pile. But this initiative was another initiative that has been brought to us by Jason Angel, and we really appreciate the fact that smart people in town keep urging us along and bringing these opportunities to us. So with that, we have the resolution approving the greenhouse gas reduction targets and climate action plan. Everybody's had a chance to read through this. It's been in circulation for months now. There's nothing in there that's startling to any of us. It doesn't commit funds to this, it's not costing the taxpayer anything. So this is all being done by our climate smart coordinators and that group. So we really appreciate the volunteer hours that go into these serious initiatives. So if I could get a motion approving resolution for the greenhouse gas emissions reduction targets and climate action plan, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. My thanks to the board for taking time to consider all this and to look it over. Philipstown is definitely leading the way in the Hudson Valley as far as moving towards a more sustainable planet and saving the planet for our children and future generations. So thank you very much on that. And our thanks to Jason Angel for bringing us this.
Next on the agenda is a resolution authorizing Supervisor Shea to sign the real property contract with Putnam County.
Something we do every year. This is sort of a pro forma document. We have an agreement with the county regarding taxation, who prepares things. So Tara, I don't know if you want to make any comments on it. This is more in your wheelhouse.
No, it's just for all tax preparation. It's like you said, it's something we do every year.
And it is a service we get from the county. So we appreciate that. Could I get a motion authorizing me to sign the real property tax contract with Putnam County?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye.
Next is a resolution authorizing Supervisor Shea to sign the outreach worker services contract between the town of Philipstown and Putnam County Office for Senior Resources.
Again, something we do every single year for our senior resources outreach worker, an important position here. It's a growing demographic in Philipstown. And again, another way that we partner with the county through the Office for Senior Resources. I know the seniors definitely appreciate it, and we do too. So Could I get a motion on the resolution to sign the outreach worker services contract?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Nancy, did you have something to say?
I did, and you know, I'm glad that you signed the agreement, and you know, I don't know if it's done the same time every year. This seems kind of late. But you know, I've been approached by members of the senior citizen community, and it's always been at the back of my mind. I just assumed that it happened, that you would have some input as to who is actually hired. So just wondering if with this contract, you could send a request, and I can also advocate for that as well, which I have in the past, but I think it's probably more beneficial coming from you, being that you do pay half this person's salary. I understand that everything else is covered by the county, and they're providing this service to us, but you know, the seniors kind of do want some input here. It's important. It's a very, very important position to them. So sorry to put you on the spot about that. I just assumed things like this were just happened, and I guess they don't. I thought you would have some input, but I've learned that in the past you haven't been able to have any input.
Well, no one's approached us about it. So
Yeah.
there's that smoke alarm again, every meeting.
Yeah, I know, I'm here.
I don't know where it's
Is
coming
that at the fireman's house?
Not at my house.
from. Not here.
Who's smoking while they're at this meeting?
Everybody else is muted, but
So,
yeah, I mean, if you have suggestions, we'd welcome that. If the seniors have suggestions, of course, we're open to them. We haven't been approached by anyone, so we assume that all is well. But if there are, you know, suggestions for improvements or for a person to fill that position, let's hear about them.
okay,
Perfect,
thanks.
thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is a resolution adopting the revised Philipstown Volunteer Ambulance Corps contract and authorizing Supervisor Shea to sign said contract, and this is a roll call vote.
So the only thing that's being revised in this contract is the dollar amount was off by $500. So that was pointed out by PVAC, and we addressed it, and that's really the only correction that was made to this. So it's sort of you know, this will supersede the last week's contract only in the fact that, you know, the dollar amount was $345 on the former one. It's $345.5 now. So all's well that ends well. But I do need a motion on the resolution adopting the revised Philipstown Volunteer Ambulance Corps contract.
So moved.
This will be a roll call vote. Councilwoman Farrell,
Aye.
Councilman Leonard,
Aye.
Councilman Flaherty,
Aye.
Councilman Van Tassel,
Aye.
and I vote aye.
Next is a resolution approving the Secra EAF and adopting a negative declaration in regard to the solar PPA proposal. And again, this is a roll call vote.
Bob, you want to say anything about this before we move on?
No, just want to say, you know, we've been working on this for quite some time, and it finally came to fruition. I think it's going to be a great project for us. It's going to be the first solar project probably at this magnitude here in Philipstown, and hopefully this is the first of many. So again, it took a while to get here, but you know, finally we got this going in the right direction, and now we're going to approve it this evening. So I appreciate everyone's effort on this. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your effort and your determination to get this done. It's been a long haul and with a lot of roadblocks and speed bumps. It's not as easy for a municipality to get solar as it is for a homeowner, as we found out, and as Bob found out. But thanks to Councilman Flaherty's determination, we now will have a serious solar system on our recreation department. Our thanks to both companies. Deep Green Solar had put in a proposal also. They were very, very similar. In the end, it really just came back down to the escalation fee. But two good proposals from two very good companies. So we'll be moving ahead with that. So that's good for everyone.
Looking forward to it.
Yep. All right. We have a resolution approving the seeker EAF and adopting a neg deck in regard to the solar PPA proposal. Could I get a motion on that resolution, Councilman Flaherty?
So moved.
This is also a roll call. Councilman Van Tassel,
I vote aye.
Councilwoman Farrell,
I vote aye.
Councilman Leonard,
Aye.
Councilman Flaherty,
Aye.
and I vote aye. And again, our sincere thanks to Councilman Flaherty for a lot of work on this. So thank you.
Good job, Bob.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Yes, thank you.
And the next item on the agenda is a resolution approving the solar PPA proposal from SunPower and authorizing Supervisor Shea to sign it.
Again, this is just a continuation of the former item on the agenda. This is part of the program that will put solar on top of REC. As I said, SunPower is the winning bidder on this, but Deep Green Solar gave an excellent presentation and a good proposal. The best of luck to Deep Green. Anyone who's looking for solar can look into either one of these companies. But with that, we do have a resolution approving solar PPA proposal from SunPower, authorizing me to sign that. Councilman Flaherty, could I get a motion on that resolution?
Yes, so moved.
This is a roll call vote. Councilman Leonard,
Aye.
Councilwoman Farrell,
Aye.
Councilman Van Tassel,
Aye.
Councilman Flaherty,
Aye.
and I vote aye. Thank you to everyone, and congratulations to Philipstown. Again, you look at this agenda and it is heavy on an effort to save this planet.
Next is a resolution accepting and authorizing Supervisor Shea to sign the proposal from AKRF for planning consulting services to the town of Philipstown, including the Garrison Golf Hudson Valley Shakespeare project.
The planning board felt that it's necessary to bring in a consultant. We've worked extensively with AKRF, a very fine firm, a planning firm, in the past. We appreciate their services. So when the planning board calls for this, we would concede to go ahead and do this. My one caveat is that if we are going to bring in a specialized planning firm, charge an applicant for these fees, that when a recommendation comes or advice and counsel comes from said planning firm, that we heed that advice. AKRF is not known for being wildly dramatic about things. They are a really evidence-based and science-based firm. So they are the experts. If we're hiring experts, let's take the advice. So with that, I would ask for a motion on that resolution.
Can I just intercede 1 second, Richard?
Yes, please.
I would agree with that 100%. And as you said, they are professionals. We have an amazing planning board, but AKRF, this is what they do every day, all day. They have engineers and specialists for all types of projects like this, and we need to utilize the advice that they give us. So, and I'm more than happy to sign in this and agree to it, but we need to use their input.
Yes. Bob, do you want to add anything to that, being liaison?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think definitely that's the way. I mean, we're getting them to help us through this process. Hopefully it's going to get us through the process a little bit quicker, possibly as well. I did see them use it in the Hudson Highland Reserve project. They are very, very good, and they know what they're doing, and they advised our planning board on what next steps to take and give a lot of input of how they should, vote on as well. So I think it's a good move. As everyone knows, this is a large project. It's a lot of moving parts to it, and there's a lot of parts affecting the environment here. So I think it's a well decision to do this as well.
Yeah, I think it also should allay some of the concerns that we've heard from people. This certainly demonstrates the level of seriousness with which we take this project. So, bringing in this consultant is a good move. These guys are consummate professionals. They have an outstanding record in the Hudson Valley and beyond. So
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's going to help the process along very well.
And that's what we would hope for. So with that, could I get a motion on that resolution?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, Aman Raju would like to comment on the Garrison Post Office discussion that was had at the last meeting. Hold on 1 second.
Please.
Aman, can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome, Aman. Good to see you
Hey.
again.
Nice to see you too. Thanks for having me. I'll try to keep this short, I promise.
Yes.
I just wanted to start off by introducing myself. My name is Aman Raju. I was born and raised in Garrison. My family has been part of the community since immigrating from India in the 1960s. Coincidentally, my family also happens to own a few properties in the area, one of which is a Garrison post office. So the reason I'm here today is basically to give a response on what was said last month during the board meeting. Personally, I was a little disappointed to hear complaints resurface, only because operations have been very minimal for several months now. I do feel like a lot of the information was misrepresented here by a neighbor last month. So it caused me to take some steps of my own. The first thing I did was introduce or reintroduce myself to the 15 surrounding households in the area. I can now confirm that only a very limited amount of folks confirm noise being an issue for them. Conversations overall were pretty positive for the most part, and feedback tended to be more around aesthetics than anything else. Even though I've received some negativity in the past, I'm still considering to make improvements that benefit the neighborhood. From my point of view, if requests seem authentic and come from a good place, I have no worries in making any changes on our end for my family. I've also partnered closely with our postmaster and luckily have visibility to everything because I live next door. Currently, there is only one early morning delivery between 5 to 6 a.m. We've disabled the lift gate so it can't be used outside of business hours. Amazon is also not coming to the post office as much anymore because they lost their contract at the end of 2020. So trucks aren't frequenting the post office with deliveries anymore. So I just basically wanted to share that little bit of information. And you know, at the end of the day, it's a post office. There's a lot more good it brings to the community than harm. The morning deliveries are no different than bread or newspapers or gas being delivered to other places in the neighborhood. My intentions in the matter are to live peacefully with my wife and family in a welcoming neighborhood and coexist with businesses and other families in the neighborhood.
Well, thank you for your thoughts. And I did go down to the post office. I've known Aman's family for 30 years. Really, really great community members. That's my feelings. Aman's family, a very, very nice family, again, that I've known for a long time. Aman's wife, a lovely person. Aman, obviously a very intelligent and articulate person who I can attest lives right on the property. So if there were aggravation from noise, he is the closest one to it, and he would certainly be affected the most. So the fact that this is an owner-occupied enterprise certainly did, sort of inform my feelings about this. And every time that I've ever been to the site is spotless. I've never seen anything coming off the site, never seen anything on the site that would give me pause. The fence was put up by the United States Postal Service. Aman doesn't have control over Postal Service activities per se, but we have all worked toward this, including our legislator, Nancy Montgomery, to make things better down there. And I see a vast improvement. I've spent many, many hours down there. During every visit I've ever been there, I don't think I've seen a single truck come. So I find after a while, it can't be coincidental that I am there and constantly stopping in on the road just to check on the road to see if concerns are being met. And to my mind, Aman Raju and his family have really stepped things up and met the desires of the neighborhood. I think his efforts in reaching out are, exemplary as to how to be a good neighbor. Many people go right to the nuclear option, whereas he has been reaching out to people and addressing these concerns as they come. So I feel a lot better about the situation down there. Our thanks to the postmaster, our thanks to our congressman who got involved to help things along. And it does seem like a much, much better situation down there. So thank you, Aman.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to comment?
Well, I think the key is, as I'd said last month, is it's commercial property. And so, and 90 is a road that's going to have noise. And if you live adjacent to it, you got to expect some, some level of noise. But I do appreciate everything you've done, Aman. And it sounds like you are working with as many people as you can and that want to cooperate with you to keep the road quiet and keep it as residential as it can possibly be. So thank you.
Yeah, also, you probably had a lot of complaints probably right before the holidays, right? That's when the post offices are more busy than ever. So, it takes time for things to settle down. So maybe that has something to do with it as well.
It is a post office.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming tonight, touching.
All right. Well, as I said, just in parting, Aman is not some distant landlord. He is the closest resident to that post office. So if there's noise, he and his family are going to be the ones who are going to be impacted the most. And I'm sure he enjoys a residential quality of life. So everyone should take that into account. This is someone who's living in a different state or a different town. He lives right behind the post office. His bedroom looks out on that parking lot. And I know that if there were a real issue there, he would be dealing with it. So thank you again.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. I'll see you down there. My best to your parents. I hope your dad's feeling better.
Yep, he is. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Thanks.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, I see that Sheila Roush is here. I don't know if Linda Ewan is here, but they would like to give a brief introduction to a new group in town by the name of Philipstown Aging at Home.
If it's Sheila Roush, it's probably a group of troublemakers, I think. That's the Sheila Roush I know. It's the real.
Unmute.
There she is.
Did I do it? All right. Do you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Welcome, Sheila. Good to
Thank
see
you. Thank you so much for letting me have a couple of minutes. I promise you it'll only be a couple of minutes. But I
Terrific.
did want to introduce this nonprofit called Philipstown Aging at Home. And its purpose is to create a mutually supportive community for those of us who want to age at home and know we're going to need some help doing it. We actually did launch this last year, but it was February, so then we all went and locked down. But we did at that time gather a lot of names and of people that are interested, and that is going to be our job now, which is building a volunteer base of neighbors helping neighbors. That's the crux of what we want to do. We also want to develop some programs and activities that hopefully maybe we can base in the Friendship Center. And speaking of the Friendship Center, we are interested in that outreach officer position. I don't know, last I heard, they were still taking applications. And I don't know how things like this work, but we do know somebody that we think would be terrific. If I can get that CV or application to you, but if it's too late, at least we would like it to be somebody from Philipstown or somebody that knows Philipstown. I mean, that seems like a no-brainer, because it's going to be about identifying shut-ins and, things that just have to be known. We're also going to be interested in doing advocacy for seniors. And I have been thinking that if this amazing infrastructure bill gets through, there's an awful lot of money that's marked for caregiving and other senior issues. And that might be something that we could be useful to you in sharing information or any way you want to use us. But yeah, I'm not really here to ask you anything. I just wanted to let you know that we're gonna be up and running in a second or two. We have to get our website up.
Well, obviously it's very topical because everyone would rather stay at home as they age. And I think, I commend you on the effort. It's if people don't band together, you don't form groups like this, then it just won't happen.
Mm.
And if the position for senior resource coordinator is still open, we would gladly support your recommendation, and we get that to Nancy Montgomery. She brings it up to the county. I'm sure we could have some impact there.
Yeah, I'm going to get that to you. Thank you.
Terrific. Sheila, thank you so much for your efforts.
Thank you. Can I just have half a second to just say you guys are all so impressive. This was probably a very unusual night when you had all these amazing resolutions. That's not, probably you don't ever do that otherwise, but this was incredible.
We only did it because you were coming.
That's what I thought. And also Town Hall looks beautiful.
I think you'd be surprised.
Yeah, obviously I should come more often.
Oh, everyone should. This is must-see TV.
It's made me so happy. I can't tell you. This is great.
Yeah. A lot of people feel like they're on drugs when they watch us. They're on,
Or want to be.
or want to be. Or they say I must be because this can't be real. But thank you, Sheila. And anything we can do to assist you in that, we would gladly do. So
thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so next on the agenda is to schedule any workshops and meetings. We have our regular monthly meeting, which will be May 6th. Will that still be via Zoom or?
I would take sort of a wait and see approach on that. Maybe give it a week or so.
Okay.
I'm hoping that soon we can get back together. It depends on level of vaccination of town board members. So as soon as everybody's fully vaccinated among the board and the clerks, I don't see why we couldn't get back together and host meetings.
Okay. And then I have a request from the Hudson Highlands Land Trust Green Corridors. They would like to hold a workshop on the 21st of April just to collect community input into priority areas for conservation.
I'm fine with that. Anyone have a conflict?
Great.
It'd be fine for me.
All right, let's schedule it.
Fine.
Which one? 21 or 28?
It'll be the 21st. She actually reached out to me again today and said that the 28th is no longer a good date for them. So she was requesting the 21st.
Will they
Okay.
be sending some background information prior to this?
Yes, when I reach out to her tomorrow to confirm the date, she'll send me more information.
All right, terrific.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have the Code Enforcement Monthly Report, and this is for March of 2021. The total fees collected were $26,434.25. There were 28 total number of permits issued, 1 new 1 or 2 family dwellings, 4 additions, alterations, or repairs to residential buildings, 23 all other permits, pools, sheds, decks, plumbing, HVAC, etc. There were 44 certificates of occupancy issued. There was 1 stop work order issued and 1 inspection of public assembly.
Great. Our thanks to Greg Winter for that report and the entire building department. They certainly do a great job for us. I know I say that every month, but I mean it. We have one of the best run building departments in the Hudson Valley. Whereas people used to try to dodge the permitting process, now you'll see the revenues going up because people are entirely comfortable speaking with Greg, who takes a completely common sense approach to things, knows how to make excellent field judgments, and does, a stellar job for us. So one of the best hires we've made in recent years, that's for certain.
Oh, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I apologize. Can we just go back to scheduling workshops and meetings? Can we just, can we confirm that we'll hold the public hearing for the stormwater report in May as well at the May meeting?
Yes. Generally a pretty non-controversial issue. So I'm sure we'll be able to handle that in the same evening.
Oh, we start at 7:30 still, or?
Yeah, we
usually-
can start at 7:30. That's not going to take 30 minutes to do that. I mean, that's a 10-minute item.
Sometimes it gets a little crazy.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And sometimes Mike gets a little crazy with it.
Yeah.
I'm on my 2-minute time frame now, so.
You got Mike boxed in.
Next is any other business that any of you may have.
I have two things I wanted to bring up. One, I know that Megan Cotter has a great connection with Haldane School. I had reached out to Dr. Benante, so I was wondering if Megan would maybe follow up with Dr. Benante about the letter of support for our highway facilities grant. I have to get that grant out by tomorrow afternoon, the funding request. So I know Megan's got a strong connection with Haldane School and that whole community. So if Megan wouldn't mind reaching out to Dr. Benante on my behalf, I would really appreciate that, Megan.
She there?
Megan, I know you're here.
Yes, he was there.
Unmute.
Unmute.
You have to give me a chance to get through the navigating of the muting and the video.
Yeah,
Yes, Richard, I'll be happy to reach out to him. That's no problem.
that'd be terrific.
Thanks,
How'd
Meg.
you recover from your shot?
It was fine. Like a day or two, I was okay.
Yeah.
Little time.
A lot of
Yeah, I needed Tylenol. Right. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you. You have my number and my email, so
Yeah,
let me know how it goes. That would be terrific.
no
Thanks for
problem.
taking that on. The other thing I have, we did receive a letter with some concerns from the resident of Manitou. Apparently there's a house down there that's being rented out, maybe an Airbnb, that's producing quite a bit of disturbance and noise. I want to caution anyone in this town, right now, Airbnbs, it's a good thing for people to be able to make some extra money and, conduct a business at home. Don't foul it up for the whole town and don't make us be that guy, because if we start getting complaints, then we're going to have to take action. This letter from Manitou, we're going to take action on this because we have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to disturbing the peace in the community. We don't want it. So if people want to keep going with the Airbnb and the short-term rentals, I support that. But if it becomes a problem, this board won't shy away from taking it up. So don't foul it up for everybody, because a couple rotten apples can spoil the whole bunch. That's it from my end. Anything else from the board?
Richard, we also got a letter from a resident on Foundry Pond Road, I believe. I saw that this morning. It's been addressed by Carl, and I believe Chris from the building department went up and took a look at it. I'm going to also explore it and see, I guess there's water coming through the yards and they feel that it's a town issue, but Carl doesn't. But I'm just going to go up and poke around a little bit myself.
All right. Yeah,
See
take
what-
a look at it. You can make a call on it.
Yeah.
I mean, many times people feel like their drainage issues are caused by the town. It's not often the case. Sometimes it is. And when it is, we address it. If we feel it's a fair concern, we own up to our responsibilities.
Correct.
Anyone else?
Just trying to work out the Garrison Water District. I met with Erickson down there the other day. I'm gonna meet with him there again tomorrow to come up with a plan to try to get a new well in there, as you're well aware of, but we're gonna need some help there. There's no question about it. It's not gonna be easy.
Yeah, I mean, Bob's taking on another thorny issue, the Garrison Landing Water District. We've been short of water for about a year now, and it's really becoming a crisis. So we're going to have to drill another well. We have Jim Erickson, local water expert down there. OSI, it seems that they're going to allow us to come onto the golf course. OSI has always been an outstanding partner with this community, provided us so many things. I mean, our town park, our recreation center, and the ability to form the Garrison Landing Water District. That was property that was donated for them also. And I'm sure they also wrote a letter of support for our funding application for the highway garage. They also allowed us to build our salt shed on property that they owned. So I can't say enough about our partnership with the Open Space Institute. They're a terrific organization. We have been a beneficiary of their generosity for decades. So people should realize that. And again, this is another case in point where we have an issue. We go to them, ask for not only cooperation, but really permission and partnership. And they come right ahead and say, yes, they'll do it. So great organization. And Bob, thanks for taking that on. That's it's no easy task.
We'll get there.
We will. I'm sure with you working on it, I know we will.
Persistence.
I wanted to report about the dance camera public hearing last week. I attended. It was held virtually with the Public Service Commission. As members of the Climate Smart Task Force know, and members of the public know, there's a proposal to make that plant, fossil fuel plant, fully operational, which would have an impact on the Hudson Valley, and particularly a community that is low income and has already a high asthma rate in Newburgh. So I testified I provided testimony and participated in the public hearing. And I have to tell you, about 300 people attended, and most of them, with the exception of maybe 3, were opposed to the full operation of that plant. So I would urge residents to write to the governor, to write to the Public Service Commission and their legislators in opposition of this full proposal to operate that plant in the Hudson Valley and in Newburgh. It's going to have detrimental effects. The science is there, and we're going forward in our community. We're going forward in the Hudson Valley with climate smart initiatives. We don't need to go backwards.
No, it certainly does run counter to all the efforts that are being made, not only in Philipstown, but throughout the Hudson Valley. So it's discouraging to see people clinging to the past. It's a dying industry. And if the sooner we make a transition, the more comfortable everyone will be, the more jobs there'll be in that field, the more training, and the brighter the future. Because if you attach yourself to the fossil fuel industry right now with all the evidence and all the indications of how not only, New York is going to go, the entire nation is going to go, the entire world is going to go with the electrical vehicles, with electric home heating systems, there's just not a future in that. I'm sorry. So it's a shame to hear that decision's being made, but we would hope that the Public Service Commission would take into account current trends and the feelings of the residents of the Hudson Valley, especially people who've been disenfranchised for so long, like the residents of Newburgh.
Yeah, I was.
Like 2 years ago.
Go ahead.
For this, Rich?
What's that, Bob?
We passed a resolution, I think, about 2 years ago.
Yeah, we did.
for
We
this.
did post it.
Yeah, there were people on the line too from other towns.
What's that, Mike?
No, there were other people. There was a woman who was on the Cornwall Town Board for resolutions. A lot of terrific people spoke. That they had meetings at 1 and 6 o'clock. They didn't get to, everybody could speak. They couldn't get everyone on. So, but without a doubt, as Judy said, it was totally overwhelming, the support against it. And in this state, New York State does not need to go this route. I mean, between the hydro and the renewable capabilities, this is, as you said, this is something out of the past. You know, we're taking so many actions in this town to lower our carbon, and we're having the state and put out very aggressive, but certainly doable actions that we can take. But this is going to clearly put a step back to us and make us work harder for our goals to be able to meet it along with the state. And this is a serious mistake. I don't think that this would ever pass if the Hudson Valley could vote on this issue. I don't know what's driving this. Someone who actually starts a plant is going to expect revenue from it from 30 to 50 years. And so this is, if they don't get it, they're going to expect us to reimburse. So I don't know why this is being driven. This should be shut down without a doubt. And I was in the power industry for many years, and I understand about reserves and so forth. And it's important to have that, to have enough power. But this state does not need to go this route. So I hope they're listening to everybody. There was a lot of terrific people speaking. A lot of children spoke as well. I hope they listen to this. Thank you.
I hope so too. And obviously we've added our voices to that with our resolution as early as 2 years ago. So we all think it's a bad idea. It's going backwards. So hopefully they decide against it. Anything else?
I'm also obviously I'm waiting for Steve Gabba to come back for the, we have the moratorium out still on Upland Drive. So that's still out. I'm getting a lot of responses from people. I've been answering people every week about this issue and letting the residents know that this is being worked on. So obviously I just wanted to say that publicly as well, that this issue is being addressed.
Yeah, and perhaps we can address that briefly at a workshop, maybe even in conjunction with one of the workshops that's upcoming. We do need to act on that, whether it's going to be upzoning, but we do need the advice of our council on what to do there. There's certainly enough trouble down there without a sudden boom of development. So let's take that up in a serious way. Mike, if you could follow up with Steve again, it would be really helpful. Just say, look, we need advice on this.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. Anything from the audience?
Just wondering, when you have these YouTubes, it's Ken Cepeda. How you doing? How does one get on the agenda? I have nothing to speak this meeting, but if I wanted to in the future, how do I get on the agenda for a Zoom meeting?
You can just send me an email, townclerk@philipstown.com.
Okay, great. Thank you. That is all.
Anyone else from the audience?
If I may speak, I just wanted to say, Crystal Ford here, I wanted to say thank you so much for, taking up the climate resolution for the greenhouse gas emissions reduction. This is really good work, and it's going to take a community. And I know I've been here for only 11 years, so that's like nothing compared to other people. But while I've been here, I see that people care. They care about their neighbors. They care about the environment. And so I think, we're doing the right thing. And I just wanted to put a plug for a really exciting campaign that's going to be launching April 24th. And it's going to be a Zoom event to kick off the campaign to really bring down our carbon footprint. It's called Philipstown Fights Dirty. And there's going to be a lot of information. You can check out the Climate Smart website. Maybe we can put it on the town website, the information for the event. And we encourage everyone to come. We didn't get to celebrate Earth Day. It was 50 years last year and we didn't get to celebrate it. And so I'm calling it 50+1. We're going to celebrate Earth Day big this year. So thank you for everything that the board is doing for the town.
Thank you, Crystal. And I'll be at that program, be a participant. Anyone else from the audience? Jason?
Hello. Hey, Richard. Hello, everybody. I just wanted to say, I know you all are joking about this being must-see TV, but if you do step back for a moment and you look at the breadth of the resolutions you all passed today in terms of working with the county to make sure Philipstown seniors have someone in the senior center that they want, all of the climate action, solar panels on the rec center. I mean, Philipstown's the first place to pass that sort of a carbon neutrality resolution that puts into that kind of measures and puts into what our forests sequester. So I just kudos to all of you. It may sometimes not feel like must-see TV, but it's very impressive to see all the work going on. And again, like Crystal mentioned, and she does such a good job for Climate Smart, yes, I hope everybody on the call joins the Earth Day launch of the Philipstown Fights Dirty campaign. Richard will be there. Hopefully other board members will be there. And it is going to be the launch of this community-wide campaign to lower emissions. And you can win potentially a free electric lawnmower, which is a good thing. And I think Dar Williams and another local band will perform. So anyway, thank you all for what you're doing.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks for your efforts with the Community Congress, with the climate initiatives. We wouldn't have taken a lot of this up if it weren't for you. And again, thanks to Mike Roush for assisting in the CSC. So important efforts. And people should attend. If you're going to get to see Dar Williams live for free,
what day is that gonna be?
admission, even if you do have to see me.
Do we have a
Anyone
date
else?
for that?
The date for that is April 24th. You're talking about the Philipstown Fights Dirty launch, April 24th.
Let me just correct that. I think it's April 22nd on that Thursday, which is Earth Day. So it's we'll put that in. It's April 22nd on Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. And it'll be a Zoom event hosted by Desmond Fish, but we will send you all that information and post it in the chat right now. How you can.
Yeah, let's get it up on the town website.
Yeah, if you email me the information, we can put up a flyer or something on the site.
Okay, thank you so much, Dara.
Terrific. Any other audience members? Okay, vacancies, Board of Assessment Review, we have one. It's interesting work being a BAR. I wish somebody would come forward. It's not a huge commitment. If you're looking to help the town out, please step up there. It's, they only have one meeting a year, but it is doing the reassessment reviews and handling those complaints. It is important. It's a good public service. Approval of vouchers, general.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Highway.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Continental Village Park District.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Continental Village Water District.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Somebody said it. Meeting
Second.
adjourned.
Good
Thank you,
night.
everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.